Oh, Betty.
Yes, Daddy.
There was an old man named Dracula. His age was about 69. Now Drac had a teenage daughter. She was so sweet and kind. Her name was Betty Vampire. She liked to do the rock and roll. Now Betty had a teenage boyfriend, but he liked to do the stroll. Oh, when the teenage werewolf took Dracula's daughter to the heart. Oh, when the teenage werewolf took Dracula's daughter to the heart. Well, they liked to rock and roll. They didn't want to stop. When the teenage werewolf took Dracula's daughter to the heart, they danced and ate goulash sandwiches and drank tequila from the pot. Then the teenage werewolf said, I'll step outside and get some air. But then said Betty Vampire, go, but I'll find you there. Oh, when the teenage werewolf took Dracula's daughter to the heart. Oh, when the teenage werewolf took Dracula's daughter to the heart. Well, they liked to rock and roll. They didn't want to stop. Then the teenage werewolf started for the door. He saw Frankenstein and a mummy strolling across the floor. Now the teenage werewolf liked to do the stroll. He went back over to see Betty and said, baby, let's pop some more. Oh, when the teenage werewolf took Dracula's daughter to the heart. Oh, when the teenage werewolf took Dracula's daughter to the heart. Well, they liked to rock and roll. They didn't want to stop.
Hey everyone, I'm David Markland, Executive Director of Midsummer Scream. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to be talking about yet another awesome event coming to LA for Halloween, because nothing can kill this holiday. This time it's coming with the assistance of horror icons galore, including Joe Bob Briggs. It's called Joe Bob's Haunted Drive-In. Tonight we've got the producers on with it. Let's bring them in right now. First up, we've got Christian Ackerman. How's it going?
Hello. Hi, David. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. And then we also have Sean Decker, familiar face to everybody in the LA horror scene as well. How's it going, Sean?
Hey, David. It's good to see you. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been too long.
Yes.
I may have seen you, but you're probably behind a mask.
Exactly. Always. Very careful.
And then a very special guest tonight, we have Felissa Rose, Sleepaway and a gazillion other movies. And thanks for joining us tonight. And you're helping out on the you're producing the event with these guys as well.
Thank you so much for having me, David and Christian and Sean. I love all of you, and I'm very grateful to be a part of this absolutely sensational event. I mean, Christian, wow. This is
Christian, tell me a little bit. First off, give me a little bit of your background. I mean, I know that you've been in the horror scene as well for ages, and but so tell me a little about that first.
Yeah, I've been kicking around the film industry for about 25 years. In December, it'll be 25 years. And I started off, like most people do in film school, and I started as PA. at the Tonight Show, and then kind of wormed my way into more television and movies here and there. And now I've been basically doing film producing full time for the past several years.
Very cool. Very cool. And then, so Sean, what is your background for anybody who hasn't met you?
Oh, I started, wow, let's make this succinct. I was lucky enough to come onto Universal Studios Horror Online back in 1997 to date myself, which was kind of the first digital horror magazine to a large extent, and kind of was able to cut my teeth there under the tutelage of Joe Senna for some years, which was wonderful. And then I worked at Fangoria for about 7 years, FearNet for a time, Dread Central for about 10, still contribute to them. Currently, I'm the editor-in-chief at HalloweenMovies.com for Trancas International Pictures. Yeah, so I mean, aside from that, also, I mean, I think, we all love horror in some way, some form. Work in several capacities in regards to that. I've written some films, produced some films. And, we just love Halloween, so we keep at it year after year, and even in a pandemic.
And I met you by going to like Halloween Horror Nights and doing press previews like that. You love attractions as much as you love the movies.
We've known each other for some time, and like I have to think about it. Like, when did we first meet, David? And it's been a while, and it's been great. So,
yeah. And then Felissa, I mean, I think most people know you from Sleepaway Camp, but you're pretty established. I know you not right after, but soon after doing Sleepaway Camp, you didn't rest on your laurels. You went to NYU. And tell me about, I mean, I know you're going to encapsulate your entire career pretty narrowly, but tell me about, for anybody who isn't aware, what happened between then and now?
Well, I graduated school and I sort of wormed my way back into the horror genre. There were sort of like the internet and websites dedicated to Sleepaway Camp, and I was fortunate enough to meet a lot of great horror writers and directors, and I just kind of did a bunch of indie horror films, and here I am still at 111 years old making horror movies, which I love so much. But yeah, now I do the convention circuit, and I work with Joe Bob Briggs as his mangled dick expert on his show on Shudder, The Last Drive-In. So it's just been exciting, and I feel like I was able to produce Slayers videos with Christian Ackerman, and so there's been a lot of different weaving and trying to reinvent yourself. And now with this event, it's something I hadn't done, and as soon as Christian mentioned this to me, he knows my reaction was like, I almost fell down. I thought, well, isn't this just, a marvelous idea for this time of year when we all kind of feel like we're in and we want to do something exciting. So this is cool.
Let's get into that now. So Joe Bob's Haunted Drive-In, for anybody who hasn't seen the social media yet, tell us what it is, Christian.
It's a festival of short horror films. We're going to get we have some of the most insane and wild and some very strictly beautiful horror films that aren't insane and wild, mixed with a Halloween haunt experience. So, I mean, that's the kind of the basic of it.
Very cool. Very cool. So it's a genuine film festival.
Yeah, so it is a genuine film festival. We got 900 submissions in 1 week, and it was pretty nuts. We once we put the thing up, within 2 weeks, we've selected all of our films, and everything has been locked into place. So it was kind of a whirlwind few weeks, and we had a team of about 10 people watching all of the films, and it was a lot of fun. It was the first time I've judged several film festivals, but it was the first time that I've actually put one together. So it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think with the short window of time too, we found it very challenging in the sense that we received so many wonderful films from so many great filmmakers, and it's always one of those situations where you're curating a specific tone, and some films don't get in, and it has nothing to do with like the quality of those films. I mean, that's always, I think, the hardest thing, and I'm sure Chris can speak to that, was, like literally dialing it down into the 15 films, I believe, that are making up this event at this particular time. Because there was so much, I know there was infighting, certainly, in the sense of I was like, no, I want this film in there. So, I mean, I think, I think that was such a wonderful thing too, just to see this huge outpouring of films and this outpouring of creativity from all these filmmakers. I mean, I thought it was great. I enjoyed watching all of them in the entire process. So
yeah, and we kind of kept it diplomatic. Everybody got their choices, or at least everybody had a few choices that got in. But overall, it was a voting process, and so we kind of kept it very diplomatic, and so yeah.
Yeah,
so,
and I mean, I think you're also we're also looking to at what the event unto itself was going to be, which is an immersive haunted drive-in experience. So a lot of those films had to play into that and into that aspect of fun, which so if really very dark things sometimes may have not gotten through, and films weren't great. It was just we didn't really want to make anybody sad while they were sitting in their car. The whole point of this event is to just go, oh my God, I'm finally out of the house and I can go out and do something haunt and Halloween related in a safe environment. And really enjoy every moment of it,
and keep the movies exciting and the audience focused on the screen so we can get them while they're distracted.
Yeah, I mean, so I know it's a film festival, but for the haunt fans, the haunted part of Joe Bob's Haunted Drive-In.
Yeah, so as people enter, so how it's going to go is as Joe Bob is presenting the films on screen with Felissa and Darcy the Mail Girl, zombies will start to enter the entire drive-in, and then when eventually some characters will come into the projection booth that Joe Bob and Felissa are in. And then they're going to be telling us information of what's going on outside. And then people are going to start seeing the zombies. And the zombies have come from a Halloween party next door. So they're going to be dressed in different costumes, but they're turning. So as the night progresses, they will get more and more intense and scarier and aggressive in a COVID sense fashion. And then eventually everyone's going to have to figure out a way together in the audience to kill all the zombies.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome.
Well, that's what I loved about Chris's initial conceit in regards to this. With obviously, we have Joe Bob and Darcy and Felissa, because you're amazing, making some live appearances at these events. But the film version certainly is being pre-recorded, but there's a augmented reality capacity within that film itself, so it breaks the fourth wall. Joe Bob will be speaking to the audience about information that he's receiving about this Halloween party that has now been invaded by zombies. And that information starts replicating itself in the real world around your car. And as that narrative grows, you're kind of like the audience comes, or rather the action comes to the audience, which I think is just, I thought it was a really compelling idea when Chris initially brought this up to me, and a very safe one. So.
Cool. Felissa, you're in it. You're also helping produce it. How did this project come to you?
I've known Christian for many, many years.
Too many years.
I knew this was coming. And the truth is, we love each other so much, and we've formed this incredible, we have a great friendship, and our professional relationship is tremendous. And I just trust him, and I love his ideas. And when he told me, which wasn't too long ago, it was pretty recently, he's like, well, what do you think? And the way I sort of came on board in the sense of the producing was with Joe Bob, because I'm close with Joe Bob and Diana Prince, Darcy the Mail Girl. So the three of us have been kind of a unit. And he said, what do you think about them coming on board? So that was sort of the way it all came together for me. And then, we've been working on it ever since.
Yeah, because the original idea was to have a random, maybe a character that I would create. And then I was like, hey, Felissa, what do you think of this idea? And she's like, well, that sounds like something that Joe Bob should star in. I'm like, yeah. Well, I kind of thought about that, but I didn't think to ask him yet. But she was like, well, why don't we? Let's do it. So I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Pretty cool. How does that go? I mean, it was one of the biggest names you could think of to do anything drive-in.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, drive-in has to be Joe Bob. Like,
yeah.
And right now, this season, it was perfect.
Yes.
That's very cool. Tell me a little bit, like I know that Sean touched on that a little bit, just this is a season where everybody's trying to, anybody who loves Halloween and is creative, they're trying to find a way to salvage the event, whether it's personally or for the audiences. You guys are doing it for the audiences. When did this idea come up, and like talk a little bit how it evolved and what inspired it and the team?
So I maybe back in the spring when this whole COVID thing was really starting to heat up, and I was quarantining a lot just to stay indoors to make sure, with uncertainty what's going on, and we're still in uncertainty. I just came across an article, and I'm sure a lot of people did, that in Tokyo there was that haunted house of people attacking a car, and it was just that image, and it was like a drive-through, and I thought it said drive-in. And so I didn't even read the article. I just kind of passed by it, and I was like, that's a great idea. I kept it in the back of my mind. And then I kind of went back to the idea, and I looked at what that actually article, and it was like, oh, okay, they drive in, they park, and then, so that's going to be the new normal. So then why don't I just take the idea that I thought it actually was and make it a drive-in experience? And because of my experience with films, and film festivals, and knowing a lot of short filmmakers, or just filmmakers in general, I just figured that would be the best way to work within my wheelhouse of and then bringing in experienced haunt people that know that world as well.
Cool. And then Sean, how did you get drawn into this?
Chris came over and pitched the idea to me.
Yeah.
Essentially, he's like, I'm working on this thing. I can't tell you what it's about yet, but I'm working on it, and I want to talk to you about it, as soon as it gets a little bit further down the road. And he came over and did. And Chris and I have, worked on films together in the past. We've known each other now for how long, Chris?
The same as Felissa, so about 15 years probably.
It's been a while. I think when I met you, I had really long hair.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Yeah, see? Felicity remembers. So yeah, I mean, he pitched it to me, and I think, we've all been in kind of a doldrum, I think, collectively, as far as, Halloween enthusiasts, in the sense that this year was supposed to be the first, Halloween on a Saturday and God knows how long, the first Halloween with a full moon. There won't be another one for 19 years, by the way. So that's sad. And the clock was moving back that night. And I know personally, myself and Sarah, my fiance, had been working on a Halloween party, our first one at the house, for about the last 2.5 years. And I was like, well, that party's not happening. So everybody's kind of sad. We're like, what do we do? And Chris, brought this idea up. And the more I thought about it, not only it's Joe Bob, and we love Joe Bob. I mean, horror fans have been, for years, like TNT or Monster Vision or whatever. I mean, he's part of the very fabric of our fandom. But also, the film festival capacity and the driving capacity, just bringing in that nostalgia and the live actors, but all done in such a way that it's safe. And I didn't initially, and Chris will know this, I didn't initially say, yes, let's do this. I was like, I got to think about this a little bit. And there was a lot of conversations there just to make sure, particularly on the safety, and that, we're all on the same page. And he'd already just kind of looked at this from a lot of different angles. And it seemed correct to me. I was like, you know what? I would love to be involved.
That's great.
I'm glad you did.
So just for those who are watching, if you guys have any questions for this team, please feel free to throw them into the comments. We'll try to get to as many as we can. But speaking of safety, let's talk about that, because everybody does want to know, what are you guys doing to make sure everybody comes in is as safe as possible, in spite of you guys knowing a zombie outbreak is happening?
We're sticking to the LA County COVID safety guidelines. At any point, whenever it changes, we're sticking to that as well. We want to make sure that everyone feels safe and walks out of there without any issues and without any negative feelings about what they experienced that night. And we're going to keep all of our haunt actors are going to be wearing either clear masks so we can see their faces if they're zombies, or if they have some sort of mask on their face, we'll have a mask underneath that. And I'm keeping all of the actors separated backstage. I'm going to have different pods for them to be, that's their dressing room and makeup area. Every single actor is going to be doing their own makeup. We're going to have one supervisor just watching and have their kits together. I mean, here's your kit. And each night you're going to package it up yourself and put it in a box. And then we're going to hand it back to you, or you pull it out yourself, that kind of thing. And then, across the board, just stay with the LA County COVID compliancy. That's the main thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, even past that, so we're really looking at zones, and approaching this like you would on any film set at this particular time. And Jackie Cretterfeld, who we all know and love, who's produced some wonderful live events from Delusion with John Braver and a lot of the things over the years,
including Midsummer Scream.
And God, we all love Jackie. She's blessed us with coming onto the production in regards to handling, all the casting and the live aspects, as a department head within that realm. And those conversations with her initially too, and as they're ongoing, have been all about not only really making the audience have a good time, but most importantly, making sure that it's a safe, good time. And that it's also a really safe experience for all of our scare actors. And she's wonderful. So, I'm again, the safety thing was a really big issue for me. I actually got certified as a COVID compliance officer recently in regards to that. So pouring through all of that data and making sure that we apply that to this event, is utmost importance.
Yeah, and we're not going to have actors. If there's someone walking to the snack bar, no one's going to approach you. Unfortunately, we wish it wasn't that kind of world right now. And then if you have your window open, nobody's going to get within 6 feet of your window. But if you keep your windows up, you might get. You're going to be able to get scared a little better. That's the key thing that we're trying to push for, is that hopefully everybody stays in their cars as much as possible. Don't roam around, and let our actors do their job, and let our actors scare you as much as possible.
So we have we have zombies. We have a short film festival going on. We've got a bunch of horror fans who are going to come and attend this event. And I'm just going to throw this up real quick. But right now, that this is already scheduled to take place October 27th and 28th at the Rodian by Torrance. People can buy tickets now for that.
Yes.
And at joebobshaunteddragon.com. More dates to be announced. But you guys also are going to be having some celebrity guests, including Felissa and Joe Bob, and who else is going to be there?
And Diana Prince, who plays Darcy the Mail Girl on the last drive-in.
This is like an interactive convention.
Yeah, it's a kind of a mixed bag. I was like, oh, why don't I just, if they're going to be there, let's fly them in. And, so Diana lives here and Joe Bob lives, far away. So I'm going to we'll fly him in, and he'll be here most of that week to do autographs.
And how can you explain how the autograph experience will go?
I'm going to rope them off, and nobody can go within it. It'll probably end up being 10 feet away from them. So maybe you can have at least a masked interaction from afar, at least to say hi. You can hand off your whatever you would like to have signed. You could buy a poster from us. You could buy some products from them, whatever their merchandise is that they have on hand. And then, but we have to keep it kind of, quick, and everyone has to be 6 feet away in line.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's going to be obviously, of course, hand sanitizing stations, throughout the event, and certainly, anywhere near the signing booth, because again, it's safety, and I mean, I think that's the one thing. I mean, I don't know. I just got back from attending some live haunt events in Vegas, and that's been everybody's utmost concern, is like, how do we deliver a really, really fun event that doesn't make everybody think about our current situation, which is very depressing, but at the same time, make sure that they're safe in the process. And I think that's what we really want to do. I mean, audiences are getting habituated, I think, throughout the States, particularly in Los Angeles, of going to the drive-in, right? Which was something that probably their parents did, and they've never been there before. But now that's the only way that we're able to consume films on a big screen. And I think they're already getting accustomed to, those safety protocols that have been put in place. So I think, to come to Joe Bob's Haunted Drive-In is not going to be like a huge stretch in regards to how they should behave. We just want them to have a great time and kind of laugh and get scared in the process.
Mhm.
It's funny because I recently did an event, a special appearance for a sleepaway camp screening at the Mahoning in Pennsylvania. And it was sensational, and everybody was very much appreciative of sticking to the guidelines, sticking to the rules. And we all kind of felt like we will do what we need, to do to stay safe so that we could have this, fun evening together. And people said to me, I will come with my mask, with my temperature taken, taking a test, whatever it is, so that we can make this happen. And I think we'll always remember it. So it is historical. I think that's something to remember. We shouldn't look at it in like a negative way, like, oh, we have to do this. It's kind of cool. Like, we're in this together. We've all had birthdays during this time. We will remember this forever. It goes down in history.
Very true.
Let's. I'm going to bring in some people to ask some questions of you guys that aren't me. I'm going to start off with Norm Gindley from Horror Buzz.
Hey, Norm.
Norm. What's up,
Buddy.
Norm?
How are you?
Good,
Thank
good.
You. Thank you so
Miss
much
you.
for. I know. I miss
So
you guys
much.
too.
And I saw you at the Mission Tiki a few weeks ago, so that was great. But dude, thank you for playing. You're gonna be playing Hell's Bells on the 27th at the Frida Cinema Drive-In.
Yeah.
On the 27th, I think.
Yes.
Same night as this, so I don't think I can make it. But
Well, we're getting it from both sides.
I'll send some people
But
down.
I liked what Sean said about escaping what's going on in the world right now, and especially how Felissa mentioned we're all in this together. But how is it? What was key to creating that escape and from everything that's going on in the world right now? And how did you work to achieve that?
Well, when it came to films, we decided strategically amongst all of us that we didn't want anything that really had the key focus or darkness something that was made this year that was COVID with subjects of COVID-19, because we wanted to be escapism. We do have one short that's about a minute and a half that'll play in our trailer block. It's a trailer, fake trailer, and that one it has good humor to it, so that's kind of why we're like, okay, that one is okay. The rest of it, we're gonna just stay away from that. Let's do the escapism, and the entire experience we're gonna make everyone, hopefully make everyone feel like they are driving into a small town drive-in and experiencing Joe Bob coming to their small town, and making them feel like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. That's the hope. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was definitely the approach. I mean, I think all of us collectively, once this, pandemic started, at least stateside, I think we all probably binge watched a whole lot of end of the world movies. I know I did back to back, whether that be tornado chasing movies or, virus. And I think at some point we all got tired of that. We're like, this isn't fun any longer. Let's watch some fun, and something that's not within that subgenre itself. So yeah, to Chris's point, yeah, that was something that we really thought about in curating the films at the center of this event.
So you basically really tried to stay away from things that echoed the realities and kept it tongue-in-cheek, light, and fun.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there are some dark movies that are going to be played.
There are some dark movies.
It's not going to be all flowers.
Well, I mean, light for horror people. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's yes. The films are specially designed to make people feel good or think or have some good scares, and for Joe Bob to have great commentary to dig into on.
Totally down. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Good to see you, dude.
Hi, Norm.
So
Now I miss
cool.
Norm.
Yeah.
Now we have 3 winners with Fractured Compass.
Hi.
Hi guys,
Bree.
how are you doing?
Hello.
Good.
Good.
Where are you, Bree? Where are you in the world?
I am in SoCal,
Ah, okay, cool.
Yay.
born and raised.
Undisclosed location in Southern California.
Undisclosed, yes, in
Yeah.
the studio.
That's a great paint choice for your back wall.
Yeah, I love that.
I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan, and I hate to say like my favorite color is like blood red, just like
Yeah.
deep tones. Like
My apartment's red and black, just like that red.
nice,
Yep.
nice.
Except for
I
back
love
there.
it. I know we've been talking about immersion and everything, and it when fans of haunts go to the theme parks out here and things like that, and they want that complete immersion. And I was just wondering, like, is there anything like right off the bat as we drive into this drive-in, is that there's anything ominous going on, or are we completely cut off from the outside world when we enter this?
Yeah, when you first drive in and you reach our the people that are checking you in, you're already gonna get some sort of unsettling feeling because they're gonna be a way too friendly and way too smiley, and they're gonna say some weird things to you. We're gonna have a drive-in sign, like a neon sign, that you're gonna be able to take pictures at. But the first thing you're gonna be doing is turning on your radio, even when you're in line, an hour before the show starts. And we have a local DJ of our fictional town of Shock City playing Halloween music and getting everyone primed for what's going to happen on screen. But the zombies are part of the surprise, within that town. So you are the small town viewer, but you're unsuspecting up to the point of the zombies attacking.
Right on. Perfect. I love it.
Cool.
I love surprises.
Yeah. Well, now it's not a surprise. Now you know. No,
No, I know,
I'm just kidding. It's not a surprise.
But you don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight. And we'll see you soon, Bree.
Thank you, Bree.
Thank you.
Come see us, Bree.
Cool. And then we have one more live video question here coming from Scott with SoCal Exploring.
Hey, Scott.
Hey,
Hey,
Scott.
what's going on, everybody?
I recognize you. I watch your show. I've been watching.
Thank you.
Now that I'm
Yeah.
entering the haunt world, I'm like, oh, I started watching your show and I love it. And I was trying to get all the latest gossip. And yeah, so you're a badass. I like your show.
Man. I'm super excited for this. Speaking of, this is something completely different as far as the driving goes. I want to know the most difficult thing, because you said you had all these submissions for these individual horror films. I want to know the most difficult part of taking all those submissions and creating like your own original storyline to play into this haunted experience.
What we did was we chose the best movies for what we were trying to create. So and it also had to be a mixed bag of different stuff. We couldn't make all horror comedies or all dark films. So once we chose, the key thing was to choose the best ones that we felt was right for all of the elements that we all kind of collectively decided on. And then once we got to that point, then we shuffled them around to kind of help facilitate the story that's happening with Joe Bob and Felissa and Darcy the Mail Girl and all of the people entering their room and so that's it was hard. Probably the hardest part was for all of us trying to decide on the movies of which ones to choose, because everybody had their favorites, and I had several I didn't get in, and Sean had several he didn't get in, and so that was the tough part. We were like, oh darn it, we're all kind of bummed that we didn't get some because other people didn't vote on the same ones that we.
Well, I think you receive so many films that are good that you're just like, can't this film festival be 6 hours long? Because we want to program all these movies. And at the end of the day, you can't. But I think within that and then structuring those films in a particular way, Chris already had an idea of what he wanted this kind of fourth wall breakage and this ARG aspect to be within that narrative of what's happening in this town, Rock City, and the zombie outbreak. And through that, Joe Bob is doing his own work in regards to his commentary on the films and his commentary on the augmented reality aspect of it. So it's certainly with anything, it's been a collaborative effort, and I think that's kind of what has made it exciting for us on our end, just creatively as well.
Yeah, I like how you guys already had like that storyline that you kind of wanted to go with, and you're just trying to pick out the ones that best fit it. I really like that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and definitely when you come, just come to our trailer in the back and say hi, and I will I will give you a big fake virtual hug for all the stuff you do
from
for the
6
haunt
feet
world.
away.
For sure,
Thanks,
guys. Well,
Scott, for joining us.
thanks for doing this.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Cool, guys. So a couple of things I want to touch on, but I think we're getting close to wrapping up here. Is one is this is a tour, potentially a touring event. Anybody can, well, pretty much anybody. If they have a drive-in theater across the country, can they invite you out?
Yeah, I mean, the key thing is all the haunt actors. So if anyone across the country or across the world has a team of haunt actors, you have a space to put many cars, and you have a screen and all that. It's definitely going to take a lot of cars in order for it to work. But yeah, I mean, just give us a call, and I can send a director or myself with the film itself, and then it can transfer anywhere. And on the ground, the actors can be malleable. So on different nights, you can have different themed nights as well. So as long as it's like Halloween party themed, that's the key issue.
But there's only one Felissa Rose. How is she?
No, well, yeah,
I'm going.
There's only one
Yes,
for it.
I'll be
yeah,
there.
she'll go for it. Yeah, she'll appear anywhere.
You know it's
She's
how
ready.
I am. I'm like, it's a party.
She loves-
It's a Halloween party.
Yeah,
I'm
she
there.
loves it.
I swear
Cool.
Felissa is like one of the sweetest people I've ever met. You are so nice. I love you. And I never see you anymore.
I know.
Well,
I love you. Well,
no.
this is now the opportunity.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I will see you this week, so that's good.
Yay! I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I did want to give a chance to plug some of the merchandise you guys have coming up.
Yeah.
I see you guys have. If people can order this stuff online while they're picking up their tickets.
Yeah, so right at the point of sale, you pick this up, and that's kind of the best thing to do is in order to make sure that we will have that on hand, because we're not going to order like giant surpluses of everything. Pick them up while you buy the tickets, and then once you come through that line and get to those creepy people that are checking you in, they'll give you a bag with all of your stuff and keep it safe. And we'll still have the merch there if you haven't picked up anything, if you brought somebody new that didn't know about the event before you brought them.
I see you have special popcorn people can pre-order.
Yeah, the Arena Cinema here in Hollywood. Our friend Christian, this is his kind of the offshoot of what the Arena Cinema is. It's a boutique theater, and he sells this popcorn. And I said, Christian, why don't we just put this on our website, and let's sell some people some great popcorn.
Okay, cool.
Need popcorn at the drive-in.
Yeah.
You've thought of
And
everything, Christian Ackerman. Wow.
Yeah, my favorite horror movies. So that's our Alyssa and I and Sean. We're all involved in my favorite horror movie. 3 books of it's 150 essays over 3 books on the film that changed people's lives. The horror film that changed people's lives. Each essay is by a different horror luminary or legend of the genre, legend or icon such as Felissa Rose.
I'm
Definitely.
We have an
worth
in
it.
joke. We have an in joke when it comes.
Remember, I'll see you Thursday.
We have an in joke on the icon thing. So icons of horror. Okay, moving on, David. Sorry.
No, it's so good. I mean, I think everybody has the lowdown on it. We've got a drive-in that's not just a drive-in; it's a film festival. It has interactivity, zombies running around that people from the safety of their car will hopefully be able to defeat. And special treats they can buy on the way in, and special guests, celebrity guests at the event in LA.
Yes.
Should people be tuning in? Any other news that's coming up this week? You want to tease?
There will be more special guests to be announced of who else we are including in all of the the on-screen entertainment. And then we'll have more merch, and more dates are going to be announced in the coming days, definitely through the end of October and into Halloween. So just stay tuned for that. Make sure to sign up for our website. On our website, our subscription page, and we'll send out details on all of that as soon as it comes in.
Yeah, you can visit us on the official site is joebobshaunteddravein.com. I know that's shocking. Shock City. It was a joke. No one's paying attention. On Facebook at Joe Bob's Haunted Drive-In, and Insta at Joe Bob's Haunted Drive-In, and on Twitter at Joe Bob's Haunted, because Twitter won't allow me to actually have Joe Bob's Haunted Drive-In.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks, Twitter. Anyway, like, we're gonna be dropping some, information there and like doing some special giveaways and this and that. So yeah, I mean, like, follow us.
Well, cool, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us, spending some time with us, and we will see you at the movies in just a few weeks.
And thank you. We'll see you at Midsummer Scream next year, David. Right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's what we're doing. I love it. I love that place.
We love it, and we
Yeah.
thank you. We're so grateful for you having us
Oh,
here.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, David.
I mean,
And
this
come
is.
see us because
I mean,
it's
I
going
love
to be incredible.
to add on to this. I mean, that's what I'm excited about this particular event. Is it is the horror community pulling it together. I mean, it's Christian, you've had films screened at Midsummer. Felissa, you've signed autographs the time. Sean is moderated. You're bringing in Jackie, who's helped produce the event, and I'm sure there's other people who are
It
part
is
of
family.
I mean, this is what it's all about, and that's what makes Midsummer Scream what it is. So thank you for being there, and thanks for being on with us today.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much,
Again,
David.
we'll see you at Joe Bob's Haunted Drive-In then at the end of the month.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yay.
All right. See you then.
I've got my fancy out video here.
Ooh.